Okay, so we're going to continue our review. We already went over definition of a circle, arc length, and area of sector in the first video. Now we're just going to focus on the standard form of a circle and the general form, going to standard form, and by completing the square. Okay, so write the equation of a circle given the center is at 3, -9, and the radius is 12. So if I want to write the equation of a circle, it's always going to be in standard form. This is your standard form. It's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So side note, your center is located at h and k, opposite values, and the r represents your radius. Okay, so all I'm going to do is plug in my values here. So I have x. So my radius, my center is at 3, -9, so it's the opposite signs, right? So this is going to be -3, and this is going to be plus, oops, I forgot the y. It's going to be +9, and my radius is 12, and then I have to square it. So my final answer for the equation of a circle with that center is going to be at x minus 3 squared plus y plus 9 squared equals 12 squared will be 144. And that's your final answer. So your center is the opposite signs. When I take them out, it's +3, -9. This is r squared. So if I just wanted r, I would take the square root and you would get 12. Okay, so that's for standard form. What happens if you're not given something to help you in standard form? You need to find it from general form to standard form. That's when you complete the square. So let's check it off. We did standard form. Let's do general form. So write an equation in standard form. Or if they just say write an equation of a circle, it's the same thing. So we're going to be doing completing the square for this one. So this is from general to standard. And we're completing the square. That's how we're going to do that. So we want this form to somehow look like this at the end. You want standard form. There's 4 steps to follow. So step 1, you're going to move the constant over. Your constant is basically just your number that's not attached to a variable. So right here it's 25, that's my constant. I want to move it over, so I have to do the opposite operation. I'm going to subtract 25. Okay, so now I'm going to have x squared minus 4y plus y squared plus 22x equals -25. That's step 1. Step 2, I'm going to arrange my x's to be next to each other and my y's to be next to each other. Arrange x's together and y's together. So I'm not changing sign because all I'm doing, I'm just making them next to each other. So I'm going to have x squared. So always have the squared first. The other x I see is 22, so plus 22x. And after I arrange the x's together, I have to do plus a blank, and you'll see why. Then I put my y squared first, so it's a positive y squared, so I'll leave it like that. And I have a -4y, so I put it right next to each other. I arrange them, so now I'm going to do plus a blank. Equals -25. Now, remember, the equation is balanced. So since I added 2 plus blanks here, I'm going to add it to the other side of the equation also. Okay, so step 3. Step 3. The coefficient of x, the 22. That number, you're going to take that number, divide it by 2, and then you're going to square it. So I get 11, and then I square it. We're completing the square, so that's going to give me 121. whatever you do on one side of the equation, you gotta do on the other. So I'm gonna add 121 over here. Same thing here now. Whatever the coefficient of y is, it's a -4. So make sure you actually take the -4, divide that by 2. You get -2. And now I'm squaring it. Notice I put parentheses because it's saying it's -2 times -2. So it's very important. If you didn't have parentheses, a different value. So this is going to be 4. Now notice I add plus a blank because it's always going to be a positive number. If you square a positive number or if you square a negative number, it's always going to be positive. So I added 4 here. I add 4 on the other side. And the final step, whatever I'm writing in red is always your final step. We want it in standard form. So what's in red is always what you're going to have. So what goes next to x? It's the half, the number you took. So half of 22 was 11. The half goes in here. It's a positive 11. Whatever I took half of, which was right here, it was -2. I need to add that negative value in, -2. Now the right hand side, it has to look like this, it has to be a number. So all you do is combine those three numbers, you're going to add them. You get a -25 plus 121 plus 4, you're going to get 100. So this is it in standard form. Now if they ask you, okay, so what's the center? Well, now that it's now we know what's in standard form, you can find the center. This way you couldn't identify the center or radius. So here, the center, opposite signs, -11, +2, and then my radius. This is r squared. I just want r. So you take the square root of it. So that's going to give you 10. Okay, so that's how you go from general to standard form by completing the square. And then the last video we're going to talk about circle transformations and angle conversions.